What's up, everyone? Today we're settling the biggest debate in the sky. Forget Coke versus Pepsi, forget Marvel versus DC. This is the ultimate showdown, Boeing versus Airbus. These two companies build almost every plane you fly on, and for the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what makes them so different. We're going to dive deep into everything from how the pilots fly these massive machines to the tiny details you've probably never noticed before. I literally spent hundreds of hours researching this so you don't have to. By the end of this video, you'll be an expert, and you'll be able to spot the differences between a Boeing and an Airbus from a mile away. We're going to look at their cockpits, their engines, their wings, their doors, everything. This is the most insane comparison of these aviation giants ever attempted on YouTube. So get ready, because things are about to get crazy. Before we even start, I want to know where you stand right now. Go down to the comments and spam Team Boeing or Team Airbus. Don't be shy, pick a side. Let's see who the early winner is. Okay, are you ready? Let's jump into the cockpit and see what makes these two rivals tick. This is going to be insane. Alright, first up, let's look at where the magic happens, the cockpit. This is one of the craziest differences between the two. In an Airbus, you won't find a classic steering wheel like in a car or most planes. Instead, pilots use a side stick, which looks like a joystick from a video game. It's part of their fly-by-wire system, which means the pilot's commands go to a computer first, and then the computer moves the plane's surfaces. It's super high-tech and gives the computer a ton of control to keep the plane safe. The pilot pushes the stick left, the computer calculates the best way to turn left, and the plane banks perfectly. It's wild. Now let's jump over to a Boeing cockpit. It's like stepping back into a classic era of aviation, but with modern tech. They still use the traditional control yoke, that big U-shaped wheel right in front of the pilot. It's directly and physically connected to the plane's control surfaces through a series of cables and hydraulics. This gives the pilot a more direct, hands-on feeling of flying the aircraft. If you move the yoke, you feel the forces acting on the plane. It's a philosophy that puts the pilot's raw skill and feel for the aircraft front and center. So, do you want a computer co-pilot, or do you want to feel every gust of wind? This next part is going to blow your mind. The side stick and the yoke aren't just different controls. They represent two completely opposite ideas about how to fly a plane. Airbus believes in something called commonality. They designed their planes so that if you know how to fly one Airbus, like an A320, you can switch to a giant A380 with minimal extra training. The cockpits look almost identical. Their philosophy is all about automation. The computer is king, and it has hard limits programmed in to prevent the pilot from doing anything too dangerous, like stalling the plane or banking too steeply. The computer is always there, acting as the ultimate safety net. Boeing, on the other hand, puts the pilot first. They believe the pilot should always have the final say, no matter what. Their philosophy is built on a legacy of hands-on flying and giving the pilot maximum authority. While their newer planes like the 787 Dreamliner have a ton of advanced tech, the core idea is that the pilot can override the automation if they need to. They want the pilot to feel the plane and have the power to push it to its limits in an emergency. It's a massive difference. Airbus says the computer knows best, while Boeing says the pilot knows best. It's an insane clash of ideas. Okay, now for a secret you can spot from the ground. Next time you're at an airport, look closely at the engines. This is one of the easiest ways to tell a Boeing 737 from an Airbus A320. Airbus engines are almost perfectly round. The nacelle, which is the casing around the engine, is a perfect circle. It's clean, it's symmetrical, it's exactly what you'd expect an engine to look like. It's simple, and it works. They hang from the wing with plenty of space underneath so they can afford to be perfectly circular. It's a very clean and modern look, consistent across their entire family of jets. But then you look at a Boeing 737, and you'll see something totally weird. The bottom of the engine nacelle isn't round, it's flattened. People call it the hamster pouch look. This isn't a mistake, it's a genius piece of engineering. The 737 was originally designed in the 1960s to sit very low to the ground, which made it easy to load luggage without special equipment. As engines got bigger and more powerful over the years, Boeing had a problem. They wouldn't fit under the wing. Instead of redesigning the whole plane, they just flattened the bottom of the engine casing to give it enough ground clearance. It's a crazy but effective solution. This next one is for all you eagle-eyed plane spotters out there. You can tell the difference between a Boeing and an Airbus just by looking at the cockpit windows. Seriously, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let's start with Boeing. Look at the side windows of a Boeing cockpit, like on a 777 or a 787. They have a very distinct, angular shape. They often have a sharp V shape at the bottom corner, pointing down and back. It's a very aggressive, almost futuristic look that has been a signature of their design for decades. It makes the plane look like it's leaning forward, ready for action. Now, let's switch over to Airbus. Their cockpit windows are completely different. They are much more uniform and, honestly, a bit more boring. The windows are generally squarish or rectangular, with rounded corners, and they are all aligned in a neat straight line across the front of the aircraft. There are no sharp, dramatic angles. It's a very clean, organized look that fits their philosophy of simplicity and commonality. So, next time you see a plane, just look at the cockpit windows. If you see sharp, angular V shapes, you're looking at a Boeing. If you see neat, uniform rectangles, it's an Airbus. I bet you've never thought about how a plane's doors open, but I promise you, it's actually fascinating and another huge giveaway. Let's start with Boeing. When you open a main passenger door on a Boeing aircraft, it's a pretty complex process. First, you have to pull the door inward, then you kind of swing it sideways into the cabin, and then you push it out through the doorway where it slides into a special pocket in the fuselage. It moves crossways into the plane's structure. It's a bit of a dance, but it creates a plug-type door that is incredibly strong and secure once it's closed and the cabin is pressurized. Airbus decided to do something completely different and way simpler. On an Airbus plane, the door opens outward and swings parallel to the body of the plane, kind of like a car door, but way bigger. You just pull a lever and the door swings straight out and folds flat against the fuselage. It's much less complicated and probably faster to operate in an emergency. It's a simple, elegant solution. So if you ever see a door swinging out and folding against the side of the plane, that's an Airbus. If it looks like it's disappearing into the plane itself, you're on a Boeing. It's a tiny detail that reveals their entire design philosophy. This is the ultimate plane spotting hack. You can literally identify a Boeing versus an Airbus in the dead of night from miles away just by watching its lights. I'm talking about the wing strobe lights. These are the super bright white flashing lights on the wingtips. Every commercial airliner has them to make the plane visible to other aircraft. But Boeing and Airbus made them flash in completely different patterns, and I have no idea why, but it's awesome for us. On a Boeing, the strobe lights flash just once, then there's a pause, and then they flash again. It's a single bright flash. Flash, pause, flash. Now check out an Airbus at night. It's completely different. The Airbus wingtip strobes flash twice in rapid succession. Flash, flash, pause, flash, flash. It's a quick double strobe and it's unmistakable. I challenge you to try this. The next time you're outside at night and you see a plane flying overhead, watch the white strobes on the wings. If you see a single flash, you can say, that's a Boeing. If you see a double flash, you can say, that's an Airbus. Your friends will think you're some kind of aviation wizard. It's the coolest and easiest trick in the book. So, who actually sells more planes? Let's look at the heavy hitters, the most legendary models from each company. For Boeing, the undisputed king is the 737. It's the best-selling commercial jetliner of all time, with over 11,000 delivered. It's the workhorse of airlines all over the world. Then you have the icons, the Boeing 747, the queen of the skies, the original jumbo jet that changed air travel forever. And we can't forget the modern titans, the 777, the world's largest twin-engine jet, and the revolutionary 787 Dreamliner, made of lightweight composite materials. The 767 has also been a hugely successful and versatile plane for both passengers and cargo. But Airbus is right there, battling for the top spot. Their champion is the A320 family, the direct competitor to the 737 and an incredibly popular choice for airlines globally. They also built the biggest passenger plane in history, the A380 Super Jumbo, a massive double-decker giant. For long-haul flights, they have the super-efficient A330 and the ultra-modern A350, which is their direct answer to Boeing's 787 and 777. And recently, they've added the smaller A220 to their lineup, which is a super-advanced and efficient regional jet. Both companies have built some of the most incredible machines in human history, and the competition is unbelievably fierce. And there you have it, the ultimate breakdown of Boeing versus Airbus. From the pilot's controls to the shape of the engines and even the flashes of their lights, you now know the biggest secrets that separate these two aviation giants. We went through 7 insane differences, and now you're basically an expert plane spotter. The rivalry between these two has pushed technology and innovation forward for decades, giving us safer, faster, and more efficient ways to travel the globe. It's one of the greatest competitions in modern history, and it's happening right above our heads every single day. Now I have to throw it back to you. After seeing all the evidence, has your opinion changed? Let me know in the comments which team you're on now, Team Boeing or Team Airbus, and tell me why. I want to hear your reasons. Also, I want to know what planes you've flown on. Have you been on a legendary 747 or a massive A380? Or maybe you're dreaming of flying on a brand new 787 Dreamliner or A350. Share your stories down below. I will be reading every single comment for the next 24 hours. Thank you so much for watching this insane showdown. If you learned something new or just thought this was a cool video, please destroy that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We do crazy deep dives like this all the time, and you don't want to miss the next one. Click the notification bell so you know the second we upload. See you in the next video.